Dobrocast, a podcast from the world of local and international volunteering. Get inspired, experience something different, help out, and grow. Hi, welcome to Dobrocast, a podcast about volunteering and active citizenship. I'm Yula and your moderator for this podcast series, Engage. In 3 episodes, we're talking to inspirational people living across Europe who are actively engaged in their communities and participate in or create their own opportunities. The series was created thanks to the financial support of the European Union as part of the project with the same name, Engage, which is short for Empowering Next Generation Advocate for Global Education. There's a small disclaimer. The opinions expressed in this series reflect only those of the guests and the podcast authors. The donor bears no responsibility for them. Looking at today's state of our world and our different societies and the problems we have been and are currently facing, I think it is more than understandable that many of us would like to think about our future, our rights, our way of living together as people. And even more important, that we continue to get together, learn from each other, and show up for each other. But how can we actually do this? How can we stand up for each other and get active? So this is what I'm going to dive into with our guest for this episode through her story, Miriam Margoshvili, but we can call her Mia. Hi, Mia. Welcome. Mia, you were growing up in Georgia as part of the Chechen people, which is in Georgia an ethnic minority from the Republic of Chechnya. And during your psychology studies, you got active in several organizations and even in some youth centers. And I think you were eventually even leading one. So at the moment, you're one of INEX SDA's current long-term volunteers. And since already 6 months, you live in Prague, in the Czech Republic, and support INEX through the European volunteering program called European Solidarity Corps, or short ESC. We will say that. We will say that a bit more often, maybe. So ESC, short for European Solidarity Corps. And you came here also to this podcast with a vision. So please tell us a bit more about yourself. Why did you choose to volunteer for INEX and what is your vision?
Yes, of course. Thank you for your introduction. I'm 24 years old and my whole life I spent in Georgia. I was studying psychology, and during my teenage years, I was involved in a different type of projects which we found by European Union. And when we finished schools and went to university to our capital Tbilisi, me and my friends realized that we really have a power and we need to do something to change the reality, what we don't like in our community. So we returned during pandemics to our valley and we created our own NGO. It's called Youth Center Illuminator. And we started doing different projects just volunteeringly. And after that, we had some funds also from different embassies. And we were working with youth of our community. And actually, it was my life dream to go abroad for studies. But since I was grown up in a very conservative, close community, it always showed me like unreachable, I would say. And exactly 1 year ago, in September, I went to Poland with some exchange program. And first time in my life, I heard about European Solidarity Corps. And I decided that I really need to use this amazing opportunity. So I started searching different programs and I found INEX. And I chose this program because it was very close to me. And I wanted to know what it is to work in European NGO and to get this experience.
Thank you so much. You mentioned so many things, but maybe let's start. Why was it so close to you? So what made, or maybe you're doing it right now, right? You're in the middle of your volunteering period right now. So is it still close to you? Are your expectations met? What are already some things you're taking away from this?
Yes, I would say that it was so close for me because I always knew that I needed to have a different perspective. I needed to know how things work out here in Europe, and this was the main reason I wanted to come here and see from the inside how things work out. How, like, for example, NGOs work with, for example, young people, and it was the main motivator for me.
So kind of to take your inspiration from this NGO INEX in the Czech Republic to bring it home, kind of.
Exactly. When we were working with the young people, I always had the dream to know different ways of working with them, like giving them different opportunities. And the main reason I would say is also that to get experience here and to bring it back home and also give it to other young people.
Amazing. I hope it will succeed. Let's dive a little bit more into what was your life situation in Georgia like? Like I would say when you were growing up, because already I think you have a special position as growing up within an ethnic minority within Georgia. So it's like a special position. And also up until recently, like what was your life situation like?
I would say that it was pretty hard. I was growing up in a very conservative, closed community. My whole world was just our small valley, where everyone knows each other, and we speak only on our language, like which language don't understand no one beside us. So first time when I left the valley, went outside, I think it was first time when I realized that there is life outside of the valley. Yeah, and when you are growing up in these kind of close communities, you don't believe that you can achieve your dreams. Like you can't even believe that you can have dreams because like society expects from us totally different things. For example, like getting married in early ages, having children, and not focusing on our career. Yeah.
So that was like expected from you, that you felt it a lot, even when you were growing up, when you were going to school in the village, that, oh, I will get married at some day, or when I finish school, or what was the expectation like for you specifically?
From this point of view, I see that my mother all the time motivated me to learn, but you need to be good student at school, but after that, when you focus on your career and at university you are doing well, it doesn't make sense because you are expected to be a good student but not good in your career, because after that society expects from you to get married, to have children, and to become a housewife. Yeah.
So like that perspective, okay, I go to school, I do super well, but anyway, that doesn't matter at all because I end up being as a housewife, and this is like the only, not to decrease like values of people who want to do this, but that is like the only option, kind of, you feel like, for many women.
Yeah, and I realized it. I think I realized it very late. I was already studying at university when I realized that, and when I understood that my whole life was, I would say, built on kind of lies or, yeah.
So you had a big moment of
Disappointment. Yeah.
Disappointment.
Yeah.
Who were you disappointed in? Or what, maybe also?
Yeah, maybe it was the whole system in which I was living, because they made like I had dreams, I had my vision, but one day I just realized that all of this is not true. Yeah, and I was disappointed in myself, in society, in country, like everything together. Yeah, and after that, like I started changing my life, I would say. Yeah, you need some kind of realizations to really start to change your life.
Right. And that was the point when you went into NGOs and tried to find supporting organizations or systems around you, or what were your like steps after?
I would say that I was joined in NGO sector and volunteering practice from a very young age. Actually, we were 18 years old when we founded our own organization and started doing stuff volunteeringly. But when I realized that I needed to change something, I would say that I started focusing on myself, because I kind of understood that if I will not start with myself, I can't. If I will not help myself, I can't help anyone, because if I have a very, very big dream to help young girls from my community to realize that they can achieve anything what they want, and to give them courage to think and to dream big. So I kind of understood that if I will not have how to say, the role model to give them, it will not work out. So I started focusing myself, working harder, studying harder. Yeah, and I'm in this process. And I'm sure that when I will finish this volunteering and will go back to my country, I will have a good experience to share with them. I even have my favorite quote connected to all of this situation, and I try to remember this always. It goes like, birds born in cage think that flying is crime. So it is the reality where I was born and grow up, and yeah, so many girls are in this situation nowadays in my community.
So you took the kind of very brave step, from, at least for me, it's very brave, to become kind of the bird who frees itself from the cage, if I can use the metaphor, and become like a circle breaker yourself. That sounds very impressive, also very, very hard. Like, could you let us know what was in this process, what was maybe the toughest moment for you, and what on the other side brought you more energy in this?
I would start from the very beginning, that women from my society, from my community, after some age, they usually forget about themselves, and they become just, they live just for their families, for their children's. They don't have any kind of dreams. They don't have the career development vision, and etc. And they just live for society's expectations. And during years I thought that it was normal, and one day, like, I just asked myself, okay, you see all of these women, and do you really want to have life like this? And the answer was no. So it was the tough moment, I would say, when I realized that I needed to change some stuff. And also it is the second like most important thing what gives me courage to change my life, and what motivates me, because I really don't want, I'm very curious about things. I want to learn, like I want to know about everything around me, and never stop the education process. Yeah, and usually women are stuck in one step of their life, and it's the thing that really motivates me to go forward. Yeah.
And keep learning and keep pushing, even though it's hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes we do have to do the hard things to get over. Wow. I can imagine that was also a very like painful way, like painful and relieving maybe at the same time to realize, okay, but I can change something.
Yeah.
I have the power to do so. So thank you for this this accountability that you make. I think it's a really good example of okay, something needs to change. So let's start with myself.
Yes.
So this is really a good takeaway for me now already. And what gives you like the most energy, would you say, like in this whole process? Because I can imagine it's also tough. What continues to give you energy during all of this?
I would say that it's the clear vision. Like I know clearly what I want to achieve. There is this kind of trend on TikTok, and I'm totally agree with this, and I know that it's about my life as well. That I realize that I am the first person in my generation of women who is allowed to go abroad alone, who is allowed to study at university, who is allowed to have career, and who is allowed to not get married like at their early 20s. So I think I would say that it's the main thing that motivates me and that what gives me energy. Yeah, because my mother, my grandmother, they never had this chance, and I have this. And the second thing is that so many my classmates, for example, the people of my age, the girls of my age, they don't have this opportunity. And I clearly see that I have this chance, and I need to do my best to use like the 100% of all of this opportunity. Yeah, I would say that it's the main motivator, what gives me energy.
Wow. So that sounds amazingly forth-bringing, also like a bit of pressure, like coming with that, but amazing to like realize that it's not for granted, right? Also, for example, I grew up in Germany, and my mom or even my grandmother, they were not the first to be able to have a traineeship, to be able to study. So it's a good reminder that no, it's not taken for granted that we can have access to the education. Like for me, and maybe like it's a good transition, because growing up in Europe, or in some of the countries of Europe, it's a bit different there. And my next question to you is connected to that. What do you think like is very different, or also like maybe similar between like women or young people in Europe and women and young people in Georgia?
The main difference between us is that for you, you don't have limited mindset, and since you are EU citizen, the borders are not closed for you, which is totally different for our country, and it's very hard to overcome this cage because when you are living in the country where you have a very different neighborhood of other countries, and I would say that we have very limited mindset because we were growing up in this society. For example, my father's generation, the only place where they traveled, it was Russia, like when we've been part of the SSR. So, and this mindset comes with us, and but we are trying our best. We are trying to learn, to study, to develop our country. And I think the common things with European youth is this thing that we are more focused on our career, on developing our country, and also to become more humanity focused society, I would say. Like, for example, we try to build our country, the kind of community which is focused on humans' rights, on animals' rights, and etc. I think this is the common thing what we have. But I would say that also the background what we have as a Georgian youth, we also need to appreciate it, because it gives us so huge experience. Because when I talk here with the European young people, for example, when I say that me and my friends, we have our own NGO, it's always surprising for them, because like they usually say that no one in Europe have nothing like that in a very early ages. So
it's true. I also don't know. I only know very maybe one or two people who've had an NGO with 18, but so very, very impressive. But you're right.
Yes. So I think this courage also comes from the experience what we have, and the clear understanding that we need to change things. Yeah.
Yes. And also, now I'm starting to think myself. Thank you so much, first of all, for this answer, because it holds kind of a mirror in front of us, because I can see so many other problems that we are going through at the moment, especially in the European Union, and many people are questioning whether to stay in the European Union or not, or political parties who really don't want to keep the borders open, etc., which is something that you actually appreciate, because you know what it is like.
Exactly.
If it's not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
How limiting it can be for everyone involved.
Yeah, when I came here, we also have two other volunteers, Spanish volunteers in our office. And when we've been talking about what we will do after these ESC volunteering projects, they already have some plans to stay here in Czech Republic. But for me, the only way is go back to Georgia, because I have a visa just from 1 year, but they have EU citizenship and they can stay here. The borders are open. They can go different countries, try themselves there. And for us, if I wanted to stay here, I need to put a very, very, very hard effort to give it to myself. Yeah. And I really think that sometimes people don't appreciate what they have, because they don't realize how important it is for them.
Yeah, I think that's something we can definitely learn.
Yeah.
From that. What else, considering that, what would you wish that people living in the European Union would do to support you and young people and women in Georgia? How would you say, what kind of support do you wish for?
First of all, I would say that we have received so much support from European Union, and I appreciate it with my whole heart, because growing up in the Pangisi Valley, there was so many stereotypes around our community. We had not any kind of communication with Georgian community. And in 2015-16, the NGOs started actively working in our community, and these NGOs had funds from European Union, and we started reconnecting with Georgian community. We started integration programs. We were so cut off from this community that first time when we went to camps, for example, the Georgian children, like youth, we are asking us, do they really need to have passports to come to our valley? Like, it's a small valley with 17 villages, and it's part of the Georgia. And it was our reality. And after all of these funds what European Union gave us, we started to integrate in Georgian society. And actually now I think that I'm fluent in Georgian, but even the language barrier was so big problem for us, because we were speaking just in Chechen language and we had not communication with other Georgians. So like after that you need to go to university, and like
Suddenly you have this big language barrier, although before you were not even in touch with Georgian people
exactly.
because you were so exclusively like living excluded kind of from this.
So what I wanted to say is that I know exactly what European Union done personally for me, and for so many young people my age, because I saw world by help of these funds. We had so many trainings, so many workshops, so many camps. I would like the fact that we have our own NGO with my friends. It's just comes from the support of the European Union. Yeah, and now I would say that our country have a very, very big will to be part of the European Union, and our generation have the same goals, same vision of the world, and we really would like if you ask like the random Georgian like young person in the street, what is the big goal or dream what we have is to be part of the European Union and to have all of these opportunities what other countries had. Yeah, and the situation is very tough now in our country, and we could lose every single opportunity what we had till today. And I really, really wish if European Union continue supporting us as they did till today. Yeah, it would be the biggest wish what I have nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And there are like options for me, even though I'm not related to European Parliament, etc., and I don't make direct decisions, but still I have as a European citizen, I have the right to vote, also for parties who actually support this idea, support the funds and the budget for these projects that go into Georgian society and support young people in Georgia. So even though like it doesn't seem that we can do something immediately and directly, there are options like for us indirectly, and this is really important, and this is where we can see the power in us as people. And I think that's really important. Thank you so much for saying that. How we can actually see that, well, we have the power in our hands still, and we can support you indirectly, or maybe even directly for for something. Well, I'm really happy to have you on this podcast here, definitely to spread your voice as well, and I hope many of you listen closely. So thank you so much for explaining your situation and more about your vision now. You already mentioned that you do have to go back to Georgia, right? That like there's no other option for you to do anything else. So what are your plans actually when the voluntary period ends? What are your plans to do in Georgia?
From the very beginning, when I came here, me and my mentor, we needed to do a table with my future goals, and my first goal was that to to learn as much as it possible and start searching the job opportunities in NGO sector in Georgia. But we did it now a week or two ago, and I realized that I need to change this goal because actually the NGO sector is dying now in our country, and I don't know what will happen in 6 months because the situation changed every single day, and I have no idea when I will go back, will there still any kind of NGOs working. So from this point of view, I really know that I will continue developing myself. I will continue my studies. I was thinking that I would like to do it in Georgia, but my mentor also encouraged me to dream big, I would say, and to try to continue my studies in Europe. So I really would like to do my master degree, and also I'm sure that this situation will change in my country, and me and my friends, we will definitely work continue we will definitely continue the work what we are doing now. We will definitely work with the young people and do our best to change the situation what we have now. We will try our best to give these youth as much opportunities as it is possible, and I think that when I will go back, I will start spread information, for example, about European Solidarity Corps and about every single program of what I experienced and what I got information about in my society, and encourage young people to participate and to develop themselves. Yeah.
So I hope you can do that through a support network there, if it still exists until then, like maybe through an organization. But I can see when I look in your eyes that you would also do it just by yourself, which is an insane amount of effort. But you mentioned the beginning, what keeps you going forward. So I can see that you would find a way how to do it. Thank you so much, because education is key, information is key for people to know. I'm sure that you've already, through just telling your friends from Georgia, that you've already inspired some people to do, I hope. Maybe, I don't know if you do, but surely it has some effect.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, at least one. All right. Well, thank you for sharing all of your story and your vision. I learned a lot from this, especially to not take it for granted that I have the rights I have. There's a very big history of women and people like fighting for it, and it's a good reminder to keep fighting for our rights and to keep using the power we have as a civic society and as people. So thank you a lot. Is there anything else that you think you did not mention before that you would still like to say?
I have still time. I think I had in my mind that I need to talk about cultural shocks, what I had when I came here.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I can.
Tell us about cultural shocks.
Yeah.
What did you experience when you came here?
It's more easy for you to understand from where I'm coming. Actually, when I was coming here from the very beginning, I knew that these kind of things will happen to me, because it was also my first experience to going abroad for this long. But the first shock when I really realized, I have heard during my whole life that things work out differently in Europe, but you don't believe it till you don't see it. So it was first month maybe of my staying here, I was going to my work, to office, and I was using the escalators. I was getting out of the subway, and one moment I'm looking forward, and then I'm looking backwards, and I realized that I'm the only person who is standing the left side of this elevator. And every single person is standing on the right side. And, as I understood, the Náměstí Míru is the longest escalator in Prague or something.
Actually, in the whole European Union, it's the deepest metro in the whole European Union. The place of peace in Prague. Yes,
and I didn't know what to do, and I just started walking. And I was
because you had the feeling, okay, but now I really need to prove the people that I understood what's happening, and I need to start working.
Yeah, and I started walking, and when I finished, I was dying. And it was first time when I really realized that things really work out here differently. It is not that messy. Because it was the thing what I usually do in Georgia. You just go straight and stand wherever you want.
And here it's more like you feel like, oh, there are specific places where I can or where I'm allowed to stand and where not. Or
no, I would say that here the even smallest things has its own structure, what people follow, and it makes
it makes sense in
yeah,
itself.
Exactly. And it is the reason why it is not that messy here as in my country, because people have self-awareness, how they need to do, how they need to follow the rules, and at the end it's the main thing what builds a good country, a good society. It was the first thing when I really started realizing how things works out and how you really can build a good society and a good country.
I like that part, because I'm very sure that many also Czech people would say, but we have to break the rules. The rules are sometimes, not supporting the system, but it's actually great to hear your perspective. And yes, many things do make sense.
Exactly.
If a society, if we agree, if kind of everyone would be able to actually have a say and agree on certain rules, that would be, I would say, ideal, but of course not always possible. But that's kind of how it works, that we agree on something and then we kind of stick to it.
Exactly.
Or
if you want to break these kind of rules, you just need to come to my country and see how messy it is, and you will start appreciate what you have.
Okay, let's plan our trip to Georgia. Wow. Well, thank you for that. I think that was really important to add before we leave. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the delighted ending words. Thank you so much, and I wish you really from my heart, I wish you all the best for what you're planning and for your visions and for the rest of your time in Prague as well.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. And also for you who are listening, if you liked this talk, we have 2 other episodes from our Engage series that you might find inspiring. So have a listen. Until next time, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Dobrocast. Where will your journey lead? Find all activities at inexsda.cz and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.